Hello soul friends, welcome back to our channel. In today's video we are going to be concluding the dart transfer tutorial that we started in our last class. If this sounds like what you love
let's
to
go
learn,
to the
then
second
sit back
operation
and enjoy.
The first one, we're able to transfer the bust dart to the waist dart. So now if you don't want to sew a waist dart, and we're able to sew the waist dart, I showed you how to sew the waist dart. So now if you don't want a waist dart, you want a fashionable dart, maybe on your mid neckline, on your shoulder, or your center front, or even your or even this place. If you put your dart on this part, it's called a French dart. So you can put any one. So what should we do? Let's do, if you want to do a mid neckline, let's do a mid neckline dart. If you want to do a mid neckline dart, you don't want your dart to be here, you want it to be on your mid neckline. What do? You come to you measure round your neckline. What do you get? You divide it by 2. You mark the point. So this is the mid neckline. So that's the mid neckline. So what do? I told you all your markings must get to your bust point. So you take that point and draw it to your bust point. Your bust point is always your reference point. Any dart you are opening or closing, you must draw the line to your bust point. So you see, I've drawn the line to my bust point. So what do? I also told you that before you can close a dart, you must open an existing dart. So we're going to open this dart. We want to transfer this dart now. We want to transfer it to our mid neckline. So what I'm going to do, I'll open it up. When you're opening, it must touch the bust point. So you see, I've opened it to the bust point. So after opening it, what do? You close. You see it. You close it. I hope you can see it. You close your waist dart. So where is our dart? Our dart has moved from here to the mid neckline. You see it. All you need to do is to tape it down. Just tape it down. You see it. You tape the waist down. The waist dart. So you have been able to transfer this dart to your neckline, to your mid neckline. So when you want to sew it, you do it exactly the way we did the first one. You just get a brown paper. You place your brown paper under. Exactly what we did then. You see it. You place the brown paper under. Then this part, I like using gum for this part. So I'm going to just put my gum on it. So you see it. So I'm just going to place it on my brown paper, leaving allowances. You see, I've left allowance. So you see it. I left allowance. So you see. So before I close it up, so you see the allowance. So what I will now do next is to close it up. Close that up so that we can trace the excess out. See what I'm doing? See it? You close it. Just try to close it neatly. It will not be easy, but you just do it. Close it neatly. I don't know if you can see me. Just lift it up neatly. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to close up the dart. It's kind of difficult to close because no dart is open. Everywhere is closed up, so that's why looking difficult to close, but see, I've been able to close it. So by the time you close it, what you need to do is to trace out this neckline. I hope you can see it. Trace out the neckline. You can see this part is matching when I closed off. So you cut it out. I'm cutting out the excess. I'm just following the neckline. Then cut out any excess paper. You see? I'll cut off any excess paper. You see, there is excess here, so I'll just cut it. I don't need this excess under here. I'm just going to cut it out. I don't need the excess. So by the time I open it up, this is what I'll get. So you see it. This is what I'll get. By the time I open the pattern up, this is what I'm going to get. So you see. So this is how I'm going to transfer it to my pattern now. So let's transfer it. This is how I'm going to transfer it to my fabric. So let's transfer it to fabric so that we'll see how it looks. So let's transfer it to fabric. So I'm going to add my seam allowance. This is my neckline, so I'm going to add half inch on my armhole. Half inch. See this part, I'm going to come like this, then add my half inch. So connect it. So here is I'm going to add 1 inch. This is the side. I'm going to add 1 inch. Then below I'm going to add half inch. So I'm going to connect my lines. So you see, I'm going to cut. Before I cut, I'm going to notch where my darts. See where my dart starts and stop. You see it. This is the middle line. I'm going to mark it. And this is the end. You see it. So I'll notch those points. Then I'll cut. And I'll cut it out. This is the armhole. This is the shoulder slope. The next thing I want to do now is to cut the neckline. So what I'll do next, those points that I marked, that's the dart leg, I'm going to notch them so that when I'm sewing the dart, it will be easy for me. So you see, I'm going to notch this part so that when I'm sewing my dart, it will be easy for me. So you see, I've notched the dart. So the next thing I want to do now is to put a pin. This is my pin. Put it on the bust point, just like we did in the first one. I'll put it in the bust point. You see it? I've pierced it through to the bust point. You can see it here. So the next thing I'll do is to remove my pattern since I've put my pin there. So I'll remove my pattern like so. When you're removing your pattern, make sure that it doesn't come off with the pin that you inserted. You see, like this. See, I'll remove my pattern. So now I can now bring my ruler in and mark the dart. Look at my pin here. I don't know if you can see it. See my pin. This is the bust point.
So I'll just draw. This is the point that we notched. I'll just draw it to the bust point. I'll draw it to the bust point. Bust point. But don't forget what we said. We said when we are sewing our dart, it must not get to the bust point. You sew your dart away from the bust point with 1 inch. So let's just connect it now. 1 inch away from it by 1 inch. So I just go like this. Go like this. See. So when I'm sewing, I'm not going to get to this point. I'm going to get to this point. This is where I'm going to sew. So all you need to do is to just turn it over. Turn it over. You see, my pin is still secure there. So I'll draw the dart again where I notched. I'll draw the dart to where I notched. Don't forget. Where I notched. I'll draw the dart. Where I notched. Draw the dart. See? And again, 1 inch away. So I'll connect it again. I will not sew my dart to my bust point. I'll take it 1 inch away. So it doesn't give us a pointy mouth. So you see it. So when I sew my dart now, instead of stopping at the bust point here, I will go 1 inch away from it. I'll stop right here. So let's open it and see what we have. So when you open up, this is what you're going to have. So I'm just going to sew the dart now. Then I'll come and show you. I'll hold the dart. This is how I'm going to sew it. This is the middle point. So I'll hold it like this. Hold it like this. Make sure the points are meeting. See the part I matched. Make sure it's meeting. So you see it. So I'm just going to go to my sewing machine now and sew this line. Make sure the points are matching. See? So I'm going to go to my machine and sew like this. So that's my shoulder dart. I'll do the same thing for this part. Okay. So I have sewn it. You see, I use the contrasting thread so that you see what I sewed. You can see this is what it should look like. You see, this is the front. This is the front. You see, I'll try and transfer the back to pattern 2 so that we'll join this one. We'll join this particular one, and I'll test it for you to see the effect of the dart. You will see that even though the dart is not on the bust, is not on the waist, you will still see the fitting. You will still see the fitting of the dress, so that you will know that you can transfer your dart anywhere around the pattern and still get the needed fit that is required. So I'm going to transfer the back to pattern 2. I'm going to transfer the back to fabric. So let's transfer the back to fabric too, so that we'll just join them together. So this is how to transfer the back to fabric. I'm going to add my allowances. So this is center back line. So this center back line, I'm going to add 1 inch for zipper allowance. So I'll add my 1 inch for zipper allowance. I'll add my 1 inch for zipper allowance. 1 inch for zipper allowance. See it? 1 inch for zipper allowance. Then the down part, in case I want to join it, you know, these are our half bodies. In case I want to join it to a dress, I want to turn it into a dress, I'll just join my skirt pattern, or I want to attach it to a peplon so that it can become a blouse. So I'm adding ½ inch that I will use to join it to anything I want to join it to. This ½ inch, and this by the side. Sewing allowance, I'm going to add I think we added 1.5 inch for that one, for the front. So I'm going to add 1.5 inch here too. So like I told you, yeah, let me turn it so that you see it very well. So you see, I'm going to add 1/2 inch to the armhole too, just like we did in the front. I hope you understand. Please, if you don't understand, just pause the video or rewind it. It's so easy. So I'm adding 1/2 inch to the armhole. So I'll add 1/2 inch to do this is the shoulder slant. I'm adding 1/2 inch to the shoulder slant. Then I'm going to add 1/2 inch to the neckline. Neckline, 1/2 inch, neckline, 1/2 inch, neckline. So you see, I've added 1/2 inch to the neckline, 1/2 inch to the shoulder slope, 1/2 inch to the armhole, 1.5 to the side. This is the side back. Then 1/2 inch to the down part. Then 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So I'm just going to connect all my lines. There's the armhole. I'll just connect it. This shoulder slope. So the same thing we did in the front, that's what we are going to do here. To transfer the back dart, you can see we still have the dart here. We have to transfer this dart to the pattern. So the same thing I did, just put your pin at the tip of the dart here, like so. You see it, then you can remove the pattern. Okay, before we do that, let's cut it out first. Before we transfer the dart, let's cut it out. So I'm just going to cut it out. So you see, I've cut it out. So after cutting it out, the next thing I want to do is to mark my dart, just to notch it, so that by the time I remove the pattern, I'll know where the dart starts and ends. So I'm marking it. Then I'll just notch it. Just give it a little notch. Then don't forget the pin that we put at the bust point. Not the bust point, at the edge of the dart. So I'm just going to remove my pattern now so I can transfer my dart. So I've removed my pattern. I can now trace my darts out. Look at the pin that we put in. So my dart, for the back, my dart will get to the point, to get to this point that we placed the pin. You know, on the pattern, we already went down by 1. See it, on the pattern, we went down by 1 already on the pattern. So I'm just going to trace the dart to the pin where we marked. So I'm just going to go like this. That's that for this side. So I'll just flip it around. Then this is the pin. I hope you can see the pin. The pin is here. So I'll just check for my notches, then I'll connect it. So I've connected it. So I'll go to my sewing machine and sew the dart. I'll come back to show you. I'll sew the dart for each side and I'll come back to show you. So I've sewn the dart. You can see. I use a contrasting thread again so you can see where I sewed it. So this is the back. I'm just going to give it a good press. Then I'll join the shoulders. I'll join it to the front. I'll join the shoulder, fix the zip. I'll just join the shoulder, fix the zip. Then I'll show you how it looks like. I just want to show you the fit. This is not a dress I'm making. It's just a sample for you guys to see what it looks like. So I'm going to join them together, fix the zip, then I'll show it to you. Okay, so this is the outcome of our basic bodies that we just made. You can see that there's no bust dart, there's no waist dart. The bust and the waist dart has been transferred to our mid neckline. You can see the dart sitting pretty. You can see. So you see it's a half length top. So you can add whatever you want to add. If you want to add a peplum, you can add a peplum to make it a top, or you can add your skirt block to make it a dress. So you see. Don't forget we have half inch here that if you want to fix a sleeve, you can use it to fix a sleeve. Then we have half inch on the neckline too that we can use to pipe the neck or use lining to turn it. So you can see it. Let's see the back. You can see how the back is laying flat. This is because of our back tightening. You can see it. No zip bulge. You can see it. It's sitting pretty. You see? So this tutorial has been able to teach you that you don't have to use your regular waist dart all the time. You can transfer your dart anywhere around your pattern. So if you find this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up, and please, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please, I implore you, please click on the subscribe button and give us a huge thumbs up. We really appreciate that. And please drop a comment below for us. Thank you so much. This will be the end of the video. Thank you so much. See you in my next video. Bye.